Was good, was good. Hope you guys having a blessed day. Everything is going well. We over here is Sunday. Just feeding my daughter some breakfast, getting the day started. Daddy duties. Wife is at yoga. Yeah, man, just want to talk to you guys about is black men against the world. Let me stand up. I got my chair right here. It's black men against the world, man. And when I say the world, I'm talking of like people who are not really aligned or oriented to the black African American experience. Yeah, people who are not fully aligned with our experience. And black folks, you got to keep in mind, a lot of you younger black folks, when you're dealing with non-black people, this is your Mexicans, this is your Asians, white folks of all different ethnicities and groups, Indians, a lot of these different non-black groups who are not African American, more than likely do not have a grasp on why black people think the way they do, why they move the way they do, because a lot of the world is organized around doing everything they can to not fall into the black condition. Economically, a lot of these cities and infrastructures are built in a way where, in just how they network and interact with each other, they even communicate in a way where, whereas in the African American community, we have like a lot of division because of the, the trauma that we experienced, and trauma has a way of reshaping the brain and having individuals operating more from a trauma-based sort of orientation. Trauma, before we get into the world, we have to kind of understand like the black psychology. When black people came out of slavery, I mean, you're talking about sexual abuse, you're talking about rape, you're talking about murder. I mean, look at how these white folks gather together almost like a batch of ants. As soon as any sort of murder happens in their community with a child or with someone innocent, these white people, they shut everything down. I mean, it's even to the point where these people have put the fear in God in other races. When, like that white woman on the train that got murdered by that black man, they put fear in people. When any sort of crime comes up that involves white people, people are biting their nails. Oh my God, I hope the person wasn't black. Was the person black? Was they white? You get what I'm saying? So look at how white people act when just one of their members gets murdered. Now, contrast that to African American history and slavery, where you got murder was just like the thing of the day. If you didn't fall in line with the slave master's rules of that plantation and how they ran shit, murder wasn't even it didn't filter into the consciousness of these people, which I'm sure there were white people during those times that were like, man, but just the fear of them even disobeying, these white people disobeying the slave masters and the owners of these plantations even made them keep their damn mouth shut. So murder, how white people relate to murder and how black people relate to murder and crime is so different, because you're talking about centuries and centuries of murdering black people where you just become numb to it. This is just how it's supposed to go. And then when you loop in the Bible, the world has sort of operationalized and systemized a very sort of numb, insensitive mindset to what even the value of black life even looks like. So other cultures hop on that bandwagon. The Asians are looking at these white folks like, well, whatever these white and black people got going on, it looks like the black life must not be that valuable. And a lot of non-black people present day, they tend to hyper focus on the effects of reality instead of looking at the causes. You rarely will meet non-black people in this world that are cause oriented. If it's not outside of like technology, engineering, or some sort of interest that they are sort of passionate about, they don't look at causation. A lot of modern day non-black people are very effect minded. They look at your situation now, and that becomes the evidence for their judgment of your particular character and personality. You rarely will see a lot of non-black people go back to like the origins of this country to kind of be like, oh, I understand the mechanics and why the conditions are this way. Yeah, I get. They're not wired that way. Black people, we're all about the cause. It's just interesting how human beings are so wired differently. That's why I don't put all my eggs in a basket with YouTube or really any social media, because I understand the type of human that I'm dealing with. The wiring is so complicated, and just the psychologies of human beings today is so nuanced and insulated from each other. I'm not going to waste my 20, 30 years, if I'm lucky, on this earth trying to prove myself to people who are not even wired in a way to receive that proving. It's just not happening. So when you're dealing with this world, the world in a lot of ways is not even wired psychologically in a way that even understands black psychology. They're just like, you're broke, you guys are divided, you're fucking criminals, you're murderers, get the hell out of my way. All right, that's just where it is. And what black people will do based off of this sort of psychology of this world is they will try to fit themselves in, or either they completely rebel against the wiring of the world, and then they get really dark, where they're like, well, I can't convince these people that I'm any different, so I'm just going to be a fucking criminal and kill my own people and kill people and just be a piece of shit. Or they try to kind of like force themselves on other groups and try to force this psychology of the world to embrace them and to accept them, even at the expense of their own people. But this is something that was set up spiritually by the Lord, because everywhere African Americans go, from what I'm seeing, because you got to think, back in the 90s, you didn't really have a lot of technology where you could see your position in the entire world. All you knew was how niggas was appreciated in Detroit. Up to Dexter, up to fucking, Lansing. You didn't really get outside of your parameters to see that, oh, black people are not like in Australia. Oh, black people ain't really fuck with in New England, So with technology and all this advance, you're starting to really kind of be exposed to this reality that this shit doesn't just stop in America. The whole fucking world don't mess with niggas, really. And a lot of times they don't even know black people. They just know what they see in the media. So when you're dealing with the world, a lot of people who are not African American, even if they got one or two African American friends, they're still viewing them, even without really saying it, like the rest of the group who are not up to standard. Okay, so they might have one or two black friends to give this perception that, hey, I'm diverse, competent, I got some niggas, I got a couple niggas in the pocket, but in their minds, they're still even looking at those friends that they have as acceptable into, and also as an outlier to how they view the majority of the group. Non-black people always keep this little pocket in their brain of how they perceive the majority of black people to be. Like a lot of you guys, I got a couple friends, we go out and get some coffee, we eat biscuits and shit, but you niggas still criminals. Hold on, let me check on my daughter real quick. Harmony, come here. Yeah, it's like they always keep this pocket, and you're right. I understand Indians are kind of look like this too, so it's not just for black people. Any culture, like you might have black folks that got a couple white friends, but in their minds they're thinking, yeah, you motherfuckers still racist. You still don't like niggas. Your community. It's like human beings have a really unique way of being able to kind of pick out people from different cultures that they may not be fully resonated with, and still keep a pocket of their brain to generalize everybody else. and by consequence, it still falls into the people that they know. So we have to accept as African Americans, in my opinion, that this world psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually is not conditioned in a way to really embrace the origins of the African American experience and the realities that have led to today. The world is looking at you niggas based off of what they see in the media, in the news, in these movies. They're judging you based off of how they see white people in proximity to you act, Asians. Non-black people are very media driven, especially when it comes to the narratives and the narration of what socialization is. They grasp and they feed their evidence on how they should interact with people based off what they see on TV. Based off what they see on TV. And white people are such master manipulators. Like with black people, I feel like it's hard for us to be manipulators because when they come in the door, they already got two strikes against them. Oh, we already know what your community is. They're pieces of shit. You know, y'all guys are not together. You guys don't have any power. You know, you're killing each other. So they have so many stereotypes against black people just coming in the door. It's hard for you to really convince other people, because manipulation comes with a degree of like you having to convince somebody that the reality isn't what it is. And so many non-black people have already convinced themselves, even before. There's a lot of non-black people I haven't met, but I already know the conclusions that they have accepted about me and my people before I even get in the fucking house. I don't even need them to explain themselves or anything. I already know what non-black people think about me. I already know how they feel about me because I know how they feel about my community, even if they swear against it. No, but I know all niggas ain't like that. You know, I know y'all guys are different. I don't fall for it. So it's hard for black people to really manipulate in the sense of the definition because so much has been programmed into non-black people where they're just convinced this is just how you niggas are. But see, white people and non-black people, they're master manipulators. Your Asians, your Mexicans, Hispanics, Latinos, your white folks, because there's not a lot of sort of like, for one, they're the majority of the fucking world. So they already have this collective understanding that we're gonna do shit our way. And two, many black people are so forgiving, and a lot of times they have to condition their brains to be able to not fall for so much of the propaganda, where they have a little bit more mental flexibility, where they understand the damage of stereotypes, they understand the damage of manipulating someone's reputation. So they have a part of their brains that's a little bit more advanced in terms of being able to counter it, because so much of their fucking world has been in dodging fucking propaganda and stereotypes. But when you're the group that doesn't have to carry the weight of a lot of stereotypes, propaganda, like warn against your image and your character, it makes it a little bit more easier for you to manipulate the minds of who people believe you are. You see what I'm saying? So this is why you see so many, this is why it's so complicated to really hold white people and non-black people accountable, depending on everything is on a degree, but specifically white people, it's so hard to keep them accountable to their behavior because they're so good at manipulating the reality of the situation and the conditions that they find themselves in. They know how to kind of play on this image of them being the good sort of stand-up citizen. So that way you have to, you know, it takes a lot of proving to really, you know, have some sort of argument against what society and the world already perceives them to be innocent. You know how they say innocent till proven guilty? That's like white folks and non-black people. That they live by that. And even if they did something wrong, innocent until proven guilty. That's why this black family, this Nolan family, I mean, they have to have so much evidence just to keep these kids accountable who abandoned this boy on this trip. And even the fucking sheriff is not even taking any accountability. No foul play. There's always foul play when a motherfucker end up dead and don't nobody know nothing. And you're gonna say that's no foul play? So you see how just their psychology is just so insulated from the black experience. So black people, to sum it up, you guys gotta understand it's you against this world. And that's why it says in the Bible, don't have too much love for this world, all right? Don't, you know, you're gonna have suffering in this world, okay? You're gonna have tribulation, you're gonna have trials in this world, okay? And be of good hope, be of good cheer, because I have overcome the world, all right? we have to first start with teaching our youth and accepting that as African Americans, we are in a spiritual environment where our role is a lot different than other people's role. Okay, and from that difference and from that uniqueness, you have to learn how to wire and orient yourself in a way that gives you the advantage, and you play the game, and you play your role in terms of the blessings and the advancement that God has given you spiritually, so that way you learn to lean into the scriptures and make this thing work for your good instead of going against it, trying to, be at the beck and call of the world and